80 words per minute for 8 minutes. 5 seconds more. Start. Most countries today consider gender equality and women's empowerment to be essential for the development and well-being of families, communities, and nations. No nation, society, and family can flourish and be happy if 50% of its population, that is, women and girls, are not respected, free, and happy. Not just in India, but in most countries of the world, women have been discriminated against, excluded from decision making at all levels, marginalized, and disempowered. This is so because of the prevalence of patriarchy, a social system in which men are considered to be superior to women and in which men have more control over resources, decision making, and ideology. In patriarchy, violence against women is a part of the system. Women are controlled through violence or the threat of violence. According to the United Nations, 1 out of every 3 women experiences violence. This means over 1 billion women and girls experience violence. This is the biggest war going on in the world, and what is most painful is that most of it take place within the family. It is indeed difficult to generalize about women in India because of the vast differences between them. They belong to different classes, castes, religions, communities. Yet one can say that most women suffer from patriarchal structures and ideologies. They experience gender inequalities and subordination. Women lag behind their men in all indicators of social and human development. India has the most adverse sex ratios for women in the world. Life expectancy for women is lower than that of men. Women's health, nutritional, and educational levels are significantly lower than that of men. Women are concentrated in low skilled and low paid jobs. They get lower wages and lower income than men, and they hardly own and or control property and means of production. The number of female headed households has been increasing, and they are amongst the poorest in our countries. The participation of women in political and social decision making is abysmally low. Women's participation in the parliament has never been higher than 10%. They are excluded from jural authority. They have little say in the formulation of social, economic, legal, political rules which govern their lives and keep them subjugated. Not in all, but in large parts of India, Girls live with disadvantages, burdens, and fears. They carry the burden of neglect, of discrimination, the burden of household work, the burden of looking after siblings, the burden of work outside the home. Girls live with fears: fear of being aborted, fear of being poisoned, fear of being neglected and allowed to die, fear of not getting adequate affection, care, nourishment, medical attention, education. Our daughters also live with the fear of sexual abuse, ranging from playful manhandling to rape. Even after the passing of stricter and better laws, the number of brutal gang rapes has been increasing. After marriage, they face the fear of loneliness, maladjustment, mental and physical torture. As a result of the pressure created by the women's movement and actions by governments and civil society organizations, there have indeed been some positive changes for women. For example, there is growing gender awareness, as a result of which women's subordination is recognized and the need to challenge it is accepted by all. Violence against women is recognized and condemned. Women's participation in all decision making bodies is seen as important. There have been improvements in some legal provisions, in educational and job opportunities for women. Policy statements have become more gender sensitive. There is some increase in the number of women participating in government and non-government development agencies and programs, and women's participation in Panchayati Raj institutions has increased. Our governments have set up women's bureaus, commissions, departments and or ministries to look into gender issues. However, we still have a long way to go to achieve gender equality.